Welcome everyone to Missing Pieces episode 33. Before we get into today's episode, which I think is going to be a really good one, I have a conspiracy theory that I have to share with you here, and it's that my chickens somehow know every time that I'm about to make one of these podcasts, because literally right now, there's a chicken standing outside my door being real mouthy. And I don't appreciate it. There's not much I can do about it outside of just running out there and chewing her, but she's probably still going to be making that noise, and I think the whole neighborhood can probably hear it. I think maybe she wants to be a rooster, and it's kind of working. So if you hear that in the background, I think it adds a little bit of character to the podcast. I might bring her on as a guest at some point, but for now, we'll just kind of let it go, and we'll move on to this week's episode. First of all, welcome everyone to Missing Pieces episode 33. If this is your first time watching or listening, as this is available everywhere that podcasts are available, this is where me, Greg, brickitect, sits down and discusses his life, Lego, and anything else that's on his mind this week. And I'm now talking in the third person because I said my name's Greg. I got to figure out a way to make this happen. You think a third of the way to 100 episodes, we'd have this down by now. But basically, this is my audio journal. This is where I sit down and I just talk about whatever I feel like. And it's my favorite thing that I do every week. I love doing this, and I'm very thankful to have you here with me to share this time with me. Much appreciated. Speaking of appreciations, we have to start this week's episode out, as we always do, with some Patreon thank yous. And Patreon, I don't know what's going on here, but you guys you're going nuts on there. I have a lot of thank yous to give out this week. We've got a thank you that goes out to Eli, a thank you to Simon, a thank you to Brent, a thank you to George, a thank you to Aaron, and also to Ryan. Thank you guys so much for coming over there and supporting us. It is a huge help with this whole YouTube situation that's happening now with the Kappa stuff, which we're not even going to talk about that. Kappa is going to be the new Chima word. If you guys don't know what Chima is, it's the other C word. We have a lot of C words here. Everything's just going to be all encompassed in Chima. If there's something bad that's happening in the world or on YouTube or anywhere, just say it's a Chima. It's going to be a new adjective. Man, that's Chima'd up, you know? I don't know. We're gonna roll with this. We're gonna adapt with it. But again, no matter what, guys, thank you so much for coming over there and supporting us. Also, I should say, if you're thinking about joining Patreon, we'd love to have you there. $5 a month gets you access to all the videos that we do and our exclusive Patreon-only live streams that happen middle of the week, like on Wednesday in the afternoon, and then also Friday nights. And that behind Missing Pieces is my second favorite thing that I do every week. I love to hear from you guys. And if you're thinking about signing up, or if you have signed up, send me a message when you do. I always love to hear from people, and I love to hear your backstories and like what brought you to this place. And I get a lot of nice messages from people that, they may be a father or mother or whoever, and they talk about how their whole family watches the videos and how much value they get out of them, and that's why they're coming over. And it fills my heart with so much joy. So thank you guys for that. And that kind of inspired me to share my idea of the week. We're going to be talking about my entire week here, but we'll start this off. That kind of segues into my idea of the week. And I got a message just the other day. I'm not going to share any names, and I'm not going to share anything here that people send me on Patreon because I consider that to be somewhat confidential. But I got a message from a gentleman that kind of fell into that category where his family's a fan of the channel, and they talked about how much it meant to them and how their kids enjoy it. And it got me thinking, like, I would love to like actually start like a live streaming group with some people like that, like the dads of Lego or whatever we would be, like the dad Lego streamers, where I could sit down and I could talk to other dudes that have kids that are, 5 years old, maybe younger, maybe a little bit older, but we could kind of just talk about what it's like to be a Lego enthusiast with a kid and have like that thing, that common bond that relates us together, and we kind of like jive off of each other. I think that would be really awesome. It just kind of came to me as one of those shower thoughts. So I kind of like to do a segment here each week where I do my idea of the week if I have such ideas, and if I don't, maybe you guys could leave me an idea down below and I could ponder it here live for me and record it for you. This is about as live as it gets, though. I record these episodes Sunday morning. Right now it's 9:12 a.m. You'll probably listen to this before noon, assuming everything goes well. Although the longer I talk, the bigger these files get. The bigger the files get, the longer it takes to upload. It becomes like this whole thing, but it's worth it because I love doing this. So that's my idea of the week, the Dad Lego Streamers group, where we can all just kind of talk about how much it sucks having a kid that you got to. No, it's an awesome thing. And I watched a video yesterday of the gentleman and his kids like getting a Lego haul, and seeing the kids' reactions to pulling the stuff out of the boxes. It's just like, oh my gosh, it was so cool. They were younger than Clark, man, and super cute, and it was just, I love it. I love it. Sorry. I probably sound like a creepster. I'm like a 35-year-old dude that likes watching other kids open up Lego packages, but maybe you're a creepster too, if that's the case, because you're watching our channel. Speaking of watching our channel, this was a big week here on brickitect. We did the start of a little thing called Star Wars Month, and it has been going so well. The Star Wars backlog is rapidly getting defeated thanks to my assistant and partner in crime, Mr. Clark. Man, he's been rocking out the. You guys saw probably the Vader Reveal was the first thing that we did this week. That was Vader's castle. We had been building that on Patreon in the background, keeping it a secret from you guys, although not very well because the box was sitting in our room on the side here, and you guys may have seen that in the video. I was doing a live stream at one point where I had Vader's castle kind of sitting behind me, and I flipped the camera. And if you were a sleuth detector, a detective detector, new word I came up with this week, you could probably see, you could get an inkling that that's what we were revealing. But Clark had worked on that. I'd helped him a little bit with it. We revealed it as like the big reveal for Star Wars week, and we just hit the ground running. The next day after that, I did the Boba Fett helmet build. I did that live with my friends, and that was a really cool experience. Beautiful set, by the way. I would pay full price for it. That was sent to us by a Patreon detector by the name of Zach, also known as the Zach Log, also known as the contributor to pretty much everything that you see on this shelf here. Fantastic build. Here's the deal. I want to talk about this just for a second, though. Not necessarily about the set. I think I said everything I need to say about it in the videos that you saw, where I do recommend getting that build, especially for old detectors like myself that just want to set something on their desk and admire it. But I want to talk about the box situation. Zach, when he sent it, he sent it packed with some other stuff in a box. I didn't get the box for the Boba Fett helmet. My chicken was just silent for a little while. Now she's getting mouthy again. I can see you. You zip it. Go on, get. She's walking away. I don't even know if you could hear. You guys probably just think I'm crazy like Greg. We don't hear any chicken. But the box situation. I don't have the Boba Fett helmet box. Is my life any worse from not having it? No. It doesn't matter at all. It doesn't matter. I don't need boxes in my life. It's become evident. Tell that to brickitect over here, which has thousands of boxes stacked up on it. Will I regret someday not having boxes? Probably. But like, it doesn't add to the collection. It doesn't do anything. Speaking of collection, this mess you see over here where I'm glorifying this backlog, I think I'm going to possibly move the backlog somewhere else and put all my displayed sets here, all the stuff that I have built, because I think that should be what we're celebrating. The collection that we've built, not the collection to be built. And besides, it's starting to get pretty drab over here with how much empty spots there are, which is a good thing, because it is the backlog. And I think we're going to defeat the Star Wars backlog. Other than the Boba Fett helmet and Vader's castle, this week we also built Kylo Ren Shuttle. I built that mainly just kind of watching shows with Mrs. Brickitect, and that was fun, just kind of cranking through that. Beautiful set. Display-wise, I think it'd be really great. Play-wise, I don't know how much I would recommend it if you have a kid and they want to play with it. I mean, you can move the wings around and stuff. The minifigs on it are on point. Highly recommend it for the minifigs. It's an expensive set for those minifigs, but you get a Sith Trooper, you get the Knights of Ren, you get the Kylo Ren with the broken helmet, which I think you can also get in a microfighter, so that might be your best bet to go there. And I guess you could get the Sith Trooper in the Sith Trooper Battle Pack. So maybe not a buy, but that was sent to us by Matt, aka the Brick Wiz. If you guys haven't checked out his channel, just type in the Brick Wiz, because I know I'm going to forget to put it as a link. Super good guy. Like, he's the type of guy that shares his personality in his videos, and I love that type of content. And if you guys want to go over and support him, he does all kinds of Star Wars stuff. He builds like massive Star Wars mocks, and he spends weeks and weeks building these things, and they turn out fantastic. I wish I had like an ounce of the talent that Matt has, but he sent me a message a while back when he sent that to us and said some good things happened in his life, and he wanted to pay it forward by sending it to us, sending that set to us. And I was just like, dude, like, that's just incredible. Like, he's already sent us sets in the past. In fact, the microfighters that Clark built this week, he went on a microfighter building spree where he built, I don't know, like 4 different microfighters. They were all from Matt. Like, except for the Anakin one, which I bought on clearance at Walmart. But Matt pretty much sponsored this entire Star Wars week, and I just thought that was a really classy move. And it doesn't, I was going to say it doesn't fall on deaf ears. How do I say that it doesn't go unappreciated, other than saying it doesn't go unappreciated? I just think that's just like amazing. And you may or may not believe in karma. And I know it sounds a little crazy, but I feel like what you put out there is what you get back. And when you do stuff like that, good things come back to you. Like I tell Clark all the time, the more you give, the more you get. And I think that's absolutely true. And it doesn't have to be in a physical way. It can be just sending someone a message, someone that you appreciate. Today's Mother's Day, for example. Send your mom a message and tell her how much you appreciate her putting up with your crap for the last however many years of your life. Even if you're just a young kid, especially if you're a young kid. Put that out to your mom and tell her how much you appreciate all the crap that she's put up with you. But yeah, it was a good Star Wars building week. We got a lot of sets cranked out. We got a couple new sets though. That there has been some resistance to our I was trying to make a Star Wars joke. I should probably not. There has been some resistance to us defeating the backlog here. As you guys can see over here, if you're watching this, you can listen to this on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, by the way. If you'd prefer to be out doing something where you're not just staring at my face here, if you want to go out and go for a run, or maybe you're shopping for Lego. I don't know, whatever you're doing for fun or whatever. Maybe if you're just cleaning your room and you want to put some earpods. God, I'm old. If you want to put this on a cassette tape and put it in your Walkman and listen to it on your headphones, you can do that on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. I think we have about 500 people a week right now that are listening to it that way. Not boasting, just saying that is an option. Otherwise, there is a DO down here that's been added to the collection, and I'm excited about building that. I think it needs to happen this week. I know there's other sets that are demanding my attention prior to that, and Kylo Ren Shuttle is sitting there like, I was here first, but I need to get that built. The Mandalorian Battle Pack needs built as well. We got that as a haul that we did later this week. If you want to see a really funny haul video, watch our Dio versus Clark dance video. It's a pretty funny one, especially if you like to see 5-year-olds flossing and not talking about cleaning his teeth, unfortunately. So those two sets came in. Clarkman has, spoiler alert for you Star Wars detectors, Clarkman has built the other battle packs in our backlog. Not only the one that Pop sent us, which we made a video on, and I know some of you guys were cringing because it was this one that was from like 2011 or something like that, and people are like, no, doing the Vader no. It's there to be built. Pops be proud of us. People have asked what happened to Pops. I haven't heard from him. He's a Patreon detector. I think that video didn't have comments. YouTube's been coming down on me hard. Even if I try not marking it as made for kids, sometimes they'll get rid of my comments, which is why I'm just like, I'm not going to use any foul language in this, but like, Chima to YouTube, I'm going to go all in as hard as I can on Patreon, try to provide the content there and the value there to get people to make me less reliant on YouTube. That's my ultimate goal, but I still am going to produce content here, of course, just like I always have. I want to view Patreon. God, I need to stop talking about Patreon. I feel like you guys think this is like a commercial, but I feel like Patreon is always that, it's going to give me that stability that I need, and YouTube's always going to be that place where I'm putting my content, though. And I'm never going to take away from this to put over here. That's my pledge to you guys, at least until they really come down on me in the event that I'm forced into that. So if you have any worries, because I got comments before when I've talked about this, there's always going to be content here, but there's always going to be content here. So whatever floats your boat, and I'm happy to have you watch no matter where or how you do that. If you're willing to put up with my antics and my son's antics, I can't say anything but thank you for that. So we got those sets to build, and what else did we do? I guess the Battle Pack Showcase is coming up. We'll show off those ones that Clarkman built along with the Mandalorian live build, or we'll build in that video so we can do like 5 videos in one. I found that's the way to really defeat the backlog. Let Clarkman build in behind the scenes, and then we just show off like a showcase of all the things that he built. That's how you do it. You take 5 sets out of the backlog, 4 sets out of the backlog. I love that. So my other thing that I started on that you guys don't know about yet, I don't think even Patreon detectors know. I started the Resistance Bomber. People were asking me, what's my next big Star Wars build? I felt like I wanted to get that one done, and I've built 4 out of 5 bags of it. They do know about it, because I built that on the Patreon live stream on Wednesday. That was a really fun time. Me and Clarkman were there. It was about what you'd expect from a Greg and Clarkman collab. So we have 4 bags of that done. I purposely saved 1 bag because I'm going to come over here to brickitect this week. We're going to build that last bag, kind of slap the little wingy things on it. The wingies, as Tommy would say. And we'll do our little review for you guys. I think Clark's going to love it because it actually does drop bombs, which we haven't gotten to those yet. But it's a beautiful set, and I remember getting it pretty cheap from Target last year. I don't think I'd pay full price for it. These days, you probably can't even find it for full price. It's going to be beyond that. Good set. So that's upcoming. We got the battle packs coming. We've got DO coming. This week's going to be pretty busy. I also have like a non-Star Wars video, and I need to do a letter attack. I've got a whole bunch of letters from you guys that you sent. So I might just record that after this. I'm kind of in the zone to do some talking and reading, if you can't tell. So that's this week in Star Wars monthery. New word. Star Wars monthery. I'm having a good time. This is what needed done. I want to defeat the Star Wars backlog. There's 15 sets left. I did a count on them, including the Resistance, the X-Wing that is right down there by the treehouse that was sent to us. I met Put Clarkman on that job. He's been enjoying doing the builds lately on all these things. He's been like a little maniac. All the stuff we got in mail time, he's built. Yesterday morning, I was editing the mail time video. He built the Lego City vehicle. You can almost see it. It's kind of blurry back there because of my epic blurry background. But he also built a little mock there. That's going to be a Patreon video if you guys want to check that out. It's right there. A Patreon detector sent that to us, so I'm going to make that video for him so he can check out what Clarkman came up with. I think it's called the Friends cafe, no dogs allowed is the tagline. So that's kind of what we've been doing. We've been building like savages around here and cranking out the backlog. I hope you guys are proud of me, especially Star Wars detectors. I don't typically do a lot of Star Wars stuff in preparation for these months or weeks as it used to be, but Star Wars month needed to happen, and I think this is going to be cool. I did get some questions about some other months coming up, which we'll be sharing in listener feedback. But until we get to that point, which is going to be like the second half of this episode, I want to talk to you about non-Lego stuff, some things that I did outside the world of Lego, which I have to admit was fairly limited. And when I sat down to do this episode this week, I was like, maybe I shouldn't even do an episode. I don't think there was enough to really talk about. But here we are, we're in it. And I make these episodes because one of my biggest things is showing up. It's very important to show up. Even if you feel like the thing you have to offer isn't that good or great or worth sharing, there is someone out there, even if it's just one person, there's someone out there that would really appreciate that. And all I need to do is look through the comments to get the motivation to do these episodes, because I get all these comments from people who are like, I wait for this episode each week. I love these episodes. And I'm just like, you're encouraging me to do the thing I love. Does it get any better than that? So thank you guys for that. I appreciate it, dude. Like, I read every single comment, and it's sweet. So show up. Make sure you show up. And if you stay consistent, it's the number one recipe for success. I've always told you guys that. And that's been me. Even if the thing that I do isn't that good, or I'm not the best at it, if you just show up every single week or every single day, or whatever your commitment is to your audience, if you just show up, even if it's not your audience, say you want to lose 5 pounds, you just show up every day to do that thing that you're going to do that, you will be successful. Time and pressure is all you need to accomplish your goals, whatever that may be. So there's a little bit of advice detect for you. There's going to be some more advice detect a little bit later in this episode, so strap in for that. What else did I do outside the world of Lego? Very little, as I said. We last Sunday, shortly after this episode went live, we had our first little outdoor fire cookout thing in our backyard. We have this little fire pit type thing. It's like a little stone area, and I have a little wood burning thing. It's like a square that you can put logs into. Cody, aka Mrs. Brickitect, his parents came. I had someone ask in the comments, who's Cody? It's my wife. Mrs. Brickitect's name's Cody, Coty. They came and they with some wood. He ordered some wood, and we had this little cookout. You know, there's not much to do during the world of Chima that we live in right now. And I felt like having these little backyard things are a really nice thing. So if you that evening was great. We set our chairs up out there. Clark was playing on his swings and his slide, and we had the fire. We cooked some hot dogs, did some s'mores. It was essentially like going camping, but when you're done, instead of going into a tent, you go back into your house. So it was like glamping maybe, and it was just nice to have them over. We kind of socially distance from them, if that's a thing you believe in. I saw some resistance to that in the comments too. There was at least one comment I saw. It's like, this is all a hoax. It's bogus. It wasn't really in those words, but I'm like, better safe than sorry. I don't want to like. I went to the grocery store. I went to the post office. I don't want to get something and then have my mother and father-in-law get it. So we played it safe, but it was nice having them over. If you guys do want to see the video of that, I recorded a whole bunch of little, I recorded like a 20-minute clip that I just kind of cut down a little bit from it. It's up on Greg's World. It's my most recent video there. If you want to check out what that night was like, it was really nice time. And like, it was like the golden. How dare you make a noise computer? If it's not the chickens, now it's my computer. Which, speaking of computers, I guess I kind of finished that. If you want to see that night, you can watch it on Greg's World. But speaking of computers, I'm recording this episode on my new MacBook Pro. I kind of love it. I didn't get much of a deal on it, but I did all kinds of research on which one I should get, which configuration, what's the best for video editing, what's the thing that's going to help me use this thing for at least the next 5 years, like my old bad boy. In fact, rest in peace to Greg's 2014 MacBook Pro. You served us well, my friend. Thousands of videos, probably over 1,000 videos were made on this thing. And yeah, it served its time. It's still in good shape outside of the battery being pooched and iMovie crashing every time I try to export a 4K clip, and the fan noise being out of this world, which this one's rocking a little bit of fan noise, but I'm not using nearly as much of the CPU as I was using with this one when I record these, because I have a DSLR camera plugged in. I've got my Blue Yeti microphone plugged in, and that thing was just like, this thing sounded like it was going to launch from the station and go to the moon from that. So we've upgraded. I got a little bit of a deal. I went through B&H Photo Video, who I think has the best deals on video equipment and also on computer stuff, and I was able to get it so I didn't have to pay any sales tax by signing up for their credit card, which I'm instantly going to pay off. Don't go in debt for the things you want, guys. Make sure you have the money for it. But that's what I've been saving for. If you're wondering how much I spent, I'm completely transparent when it comes to numbers. I spent $3,300 on this computer. It's a beast, and I think it should last me for quite a time. This one, I remember, I spent $2,500 on this in November of 2014. Probably the single greatest investment that I've ever made. That's not to say, though, that I couldn't do what a lot of people do and literally take my phone out of my pocket like this, record a video with no issues, and upload it directly from there. But I put a little polish. Ooh, we got a little bit of spike there in the audio. Speaking of that, well, I like to put a little bit of polish on my videos and do the best that I can with the limited knowledge that I have, which is all self-learned. If you guys notice any issues with the audio and video from this, it's because that I'm using the new computer. I had to kind of download all my stuff that I typically use and try to get it set up. So if anything's weird with this, that's totally on me, and I'll try to get it fixed by next weekend. So if like my voice isn't matching up or if the audio sounds completely janked, that's me, so I apologize for that. So that was like the one interesting thing that I did this week. It was kind of a cold, rainy week here in the great state of Pennsylvania, and it was a great week to build Star Wars stuff. So that was kind of that. I do want to do a new segment on this podcast called Movie of the Week. Week. This week, I watched a movie that Clark and I we're looking forward to watching. I found it on Amazon Prime. If you have Amazon Prime, it's still there, available to watch for free. And I highly recommend it. It's the movie called Bumblebee. And you guys are like, man, a movie about bees flying? No, it's, my God, my jokes are bad. It's a movie about the Transformer Bumblebee. He's typically a Volkswagen Beetle in the original cartoon, but these days he was a Volkswagen Beetle in the movie too, but sometimes he's a Camaro in the new Transformers movies. And I have to say, of all the new Transformer movies that I've watched, new being all the ones from like 2007 onward, I've seen them all. I've been less than impressed with many of them. This was my favorite. It tells a story. It's almost like the prequel to the other movies. It starts out, I'm not going to spoil too much, but most of you that know Transformers probably know the story. It starts out with the war on Cybertron, which is friggin' awesome. It kind of reminds me of how Star Wars Episode 3 starts out, where they just put you right into the battle. And Cybertron has fallen, basically. The Autobots are at a loss, and they need to get out of there. So they send Bumblebee to Earth to like kind of set up a base so they can eventually come, and that's kind of when the cartoon starts, which we're watching right now, by the way. We're watching the original Transformers. I know some of your guys' heads are exploding right now because you're so excited. When I told you guys that I'm into G.I. Joe, which we're still watching, and it's not recording anymore, so I'm a little bummed. Like the last recording of G.I. Joe was like April 26th, so I don't know if it's no longer on Discovery Family, or if we just recorded them all. But yeah, we're cranking through the backlog in that. In the meantime, we're starting up Transformers, the original series from 1984 or whenever it's from. And the movie Bumblebee kind of takes place before that. He comes in, and immediately when he lands, the military's there. They get into a battle. He gets shot and taken out by some Decepticons that came in, and he sits in a junkyard until this girl finds him. And when she starts him up, it basically starts the movie where his signal goes out and they're now after him. They're coming to Earth to get him, the Decepticons and such. So it's John Cena's in it. If anybody likes John Cena, this is a thing, apparently. That was beyond my wrestling days. I used to watch WWF back in the day and WCW and stuff. I would love to go back and do that again. But John Cena, the wrestler, is in it. All these wrestling guys seem to really make a good transition into the world of acting. Like The Rock. My God, he's bigger now than he's ever been. Not only literally in terms of muscles, but also figuratively in terms of his popularity. It's cool. It's cool to see these guys make it. And, I highly recommend Bumblebee. There was no, like, wicked product placement in it like I talked about in Sonic last week, where you hear your family with Olive Garden. Thank you for Olive Garden for the sponsorship. It was just it was a chill movie. There was no blatant sexuality like there were in the old movies, which I know a lot of you are probably going to be disappointed by. It was nice. There was some cheesy parts and stuff, but it's Transformers, so what do you expect? Optimus Prime, I can't say anything about that. No more spoilers. If you want to watch the movie, it's been out since 2018. If you wanted to watch it, you probably did. But if you didn't watch it, Amazon Prime has it for free. Give it a watch. It's not even 2 hours long, which is nice too, because most of these Transformer movies, my God, they're like 2.5 hours. And the product placement in that, oh my gosh. That was kind of what got me on the Sonic thing. I watched a video the night before about, I think it was the most recent Transformers movie, how it had 66 different ads in it. And these shots that were established just to advertise items. And it got my mind like thinking about how terrible that is. And then I watched the Sonic, and it took away from what I thought was a decent movie and something I enjoyed. But nonetheless, they got to make their money, I suppose. It's the way it works. I think there's a good way to do it. Like, you can integrate things without being like, oh, my new MacBook Pro, and you hold it up in your podcast. Like, it's a, oh well, it's a good movie. One movie that I think I'm going to try this week that I haven't seen yet, and I've gotten recommendations for, it's called Ford versus Ferrari, and it has Matt Damon in it and Christian Bale, and it's the story of the Le Mans. God, I'm going to get people hating on me for that, but it's the story of them kind of coming together at Ford and making a car that can defeat Ferrari, which is kind of cool. So it's $8, I think, right now to buy, $5.99 to rent. So I might just buy it. Hopefully it's good enough to watch more than once. So that might be my movie next week. I did see, if since we're talking about Transformers, there was one other Transformers movie available on Amazon Prime. I think it was Dark of the Moon. And Clark was kind of like interested in that. But I was like, I don't know. I don't remember how good that one is. It's been so long since I watched it. So if you guys enjoyed that movie in particular, let me know. Maybe we'll watch it. But I think we're better off investing that time into doing the cartoon. It's a good time. Clark's also watching another Transformers on Netflix. I don't know which one it is. He's watched Rescue Bots. There's tons of Transformer cartoons out there. None are as good as the original, in my opinion. But there's now Transformers all over our house too. Everywhere I go, there's a Transformer sitting somewhere, which is awesome. And I'm thinking about collecting Transformers again as a hobby, because I always need new collections, right? I need more things to sit around. So yeah, that was kind of this week. That's kind of what I want to share with you guys. My big idea, which is to create the dad Lego streamers. I think that kind of was spurred on because this week in Bricks and Bits, the other podcast I do with Ryan and Just Too Good, we were talking about Lego sets that are coming out this summer and giving our thoughts on them, and they would tell their thoughts, and I felt kind of out of place because every time I told my thought, I'm like, well, I like this set. They don't like the set, but I like it because Clark could play with it, and it'd be great for this reason. So I was coming at this like from a different perspective, which I think is cool because it's like not everyone is a young 20s man or male that collects toys that are meant for younger kids. Some of them are adults that are collecting for their kid, and how would that play? And maybe it opens up different perspectives to things, or convinces people of why this is maybe a good set when most people think it's not. So that was my idea. The movie we got done, the Star Wars week, the campfire, we got it all covered. So now let's go into listener feedback. I need like a thing. Listener feedback, back. I want to start this off, listener feedback. You guys had a lot of great comments. I'd like to start this off with a success story. I thought this was a really cool story from a gentleman by the name of Brickitecter. And he says, great podcast once again. I just wanted to let you know that a few months ago you talked about school not letting me fulfill my full potential of YouTube, and that I should make the most of it. Of course, now I have left school, but I made the most of it and succeeded. Now I have been doing YouTube full-time for 1 month, and it has 46,000 people watch in April, up from 15,000 people in March. I also got my first paycheck from YouTube, which is amazing. I'm now living, embracing my full potential and succeeding, so I wanted to say thank you for your advice, as it helped me succeed so much in the last few months. Thanks, Greg. And I just thought that was awesome. I love to see people succeed at YouTube. I try to get people to succeed at YouTube that don't even want to start a YouTube channel. I'm like, you need to start a YouTube channel. It's amazing. Any hobby, like if someone asks me what I do, I immediately tell them, and then I try to convince them why they should start a YouTube channel. I'm trying to convince my accountant. I'm trying to convince like random friends that we have. I'm like, if you have a hobby, you have a YouTube channel. You don't even have to show yourself. Like, you can do whatever you want. So I love to hear stories like this. I don't hear it very often, but I love to hear people like this that went from 15,000 views to 46,000 views, got their first YouTube paycheck, and got a taste of what it can be like. And I'll tell you, my friend, it'll start speeding up. Once you get over that little hump, like it'll just start rolling. It's like the snowball. And I'm super proud of you, man. It wasn't anything that I did. It was what you did. Like, you put the time in, you put the effort in. You somehow got these people to watch your videos and got interest in it. The YouTube algorithm gods have come down upon you, and they've blessed you with some recommendations maybe. I think it's fantastic. So I'm super proud of you, and I wish you the best going forward. I hope you come back to me 1 month from now and you're like, you remember that 46,000 people? It's 4.6 million now. I just hit 1 million subscribers. Thank you for that. Yeah, that's what I want to hear from you. So come back to me. Actually, just give me updates. Keep me updated on how this goes. I hope you keep doing it. I know it's very easy to stay motivated when good things are happening. It's much harder when things start going wrong. So I do want to kind of go into that comment. There is another success story I want to share, but that kind of led me into this one first, which is from TJ Bricks. He says, glad it's returned to Lego craziness. He's talking about the last week's episode where I've kind of started making this my journal. He says, I was wondering if you could talk about motivation advice, Greg, for when things get hard in life. As always, lovely to listen and stay safe. Yeah, I was thinking about this one. I think about this a lot. Like, motivation is very difficult. It's easy when things are going well, like we're talking about brickitecter, but when things aren't so well or things get hard, it's tough. Like, I think humans are naturally, you want to do the easiest thing. We aspire to be comfortable. You don't want to do things that are hard, right? It's much easier to lay on the couch and watch the Bumblebee movie than it is to go run a marathon, right? But I think to stay motivated, this is my shower thought of the day here. To stay motivated, for me, it kind of comes down to having clear goals. Where are you at right now and where do you want to be? And what are you going to do today to get to that goal? That's how you stay motivated. Like, I'm brickitecter and I want to have 46,000 people watch my videos next month. What am I going to do this month to make that happen? Well, I'm going to go all in on it. I'm going to go daily videos. I'm going to put all my heart and soul into this. I'm going to make the videos that I really love to make. I know I'm kind of taking this towards YouTube, but it applies towards anything. If you have a goal that you have set for yourself and you stay focused on that goal and you remember, like, this is where I'm trying to go, and you track it, I think you can stay motivated, even if it is something that's somewhat difficult to do. So I hope that helps you out a little bit. I'd love to make that more of a topic in an episode in the future. If you have a specific motivation request or something that you're struggling with, throw it out there in the comments. If I can't help you, I bet there's someone else that's reading these comments that can too. And I encourage you guys, if you see someone that leaves a comment, especially on missing pieces, it's a great place to have a conversation with someone. You see someone that's struggling with something that you have conquered, let them know. If someone's having a rough go, tell them why things can be better. If they're having a good go, like brickitecter, give them the congrats on there. That's cool too. I have another success story here too from a Doyer. It says, I truly love this podcast because I feel like it's entertainment that actually gets something out of. I may watch a movie and learn a small theme or two, but ultimately it doesn't change my viewpoint in life. As a fellow creator, I sometimes get swept up in the everyday business of having a YouTube channel and trying to impress others with my content. But every week that I listen to this podcast, I'm constantly reminded that the only boundaries for my channel are the ones I put on myself. You've inspired me to make content that I want more than the content other people want. At the end of the day, passion and desire rules all in almost every aspect of life. So thanks. I think that was just a really sweet comment, and it's something that I hold close to my heart as well. Making the content that you believe in. Don't be the next whoever. Be the first you. And yeah, I think that's fantastic. And that comment inspired me too. I love hearing stuff like that. Oh, there's 2 more lines. I went on the next page. It says, thanks for doing this, Greg. YouTube has become a lot more fun and less stress lately. Looking forward to next week's episode. Sorry I cut your comment off there, but thank you for sharing that. I very much appreciate that. There are some other comments here as well. Maybe on the less positive side, we have our complaint of the week. Is this going to be a thing? Complaint of the week. This is from JKIRL. It says, on LEGO Europe, there are 62 items in the Star Wars section, and 24 are out of stock, and 9 are on back order, and 2 are on pre-order, and 1 is yet to come. And of the 26 that are available, 9 are keychains or bag tags. So you ran away, he says. I feel your pain, man, especially when they're doing this Star Wars promotion, the greatest day of the galaxy, or whatever the heck they were trying to call it, Star Wars Day, the most fantastic event you'll ever experience in your life. Maybe not so much, especially on LEGO Europe. I don't have any experience with that yet, but I've heard many people saying that the LEGO website is pretty wiped out right now, which is unfortunate because this is a time when people are sitting at home and they're bored like crazy. Are people still home? I think most people are. They need something to do. You want to buy a LEGO set. And to have 26 available and 9 are keychains, so you're down to 17 LEGO sets to choose from, of which you may already have some of those. That sucks, man. Sorry. I don't know if I necessarily have a rant for it. I guess I can feel your pain. Rant's a strong word. You could probably make a rant video if you want. I'm mad. They always do well. People love negativity. Ryan and I were talking about this, and he showed me this, like a test that someone did, a tech YouTuber that did a test between like the iPhone saying why it's great, and this video was iPhone why I hate it or whatever. And this video did like a million more views about the negative stuff than the positive one did. So that's oftentimes, if you're wondering why you see a lot of your favorite Lego YouTubers do a lot of like negative style videos where they hate a certain set, or they're upset about something that's coming out, or why they don't believe in something, and they'll put their little tagline in the title, or they'll have in the thumbnail like embarrassing or crap or junk, or just an example. You'll see that because they're trying to farm the views to get you fired up a little bit. It's not fun when you sit on here and you're like, you know what, I really loved Kylo Ren Shuttle. That was such a fun build. It was so good. I'm so thankful to have gotten it. It's much better when you're like, this is why I hate this set. It's such garbage and it's junk and I'm going to throw it across. No, not my style. I'd rather put out there what I want to see in the world, and that's positivity. So I'll forego that. But I will be honest. If there is something that's not something I love, or if I'm upset about something, I'll be honest about it. And I'll probably have an angry face in the thumbnail like this, possibly. Yeah, there's our complaint of the week. The next comment comes from Tracy. She has a question here. She says, thanks for sharing your thoughts. They always help boost my spirits. Something I'd like to know is, how has your view on money and Lego changed over the years? Do you find you have been willing to spend differently or in different ways over time? The answer to that, Tracy, is a very, very heavy yes. When I started Lego collecting, or got back into it, I made a pledge that I would never really spend more than... I never wanted to spend more money on a Lego set than I could get an Xbox for. So my cutoff was like $100, $150. I would never spend $200 on a Lego set. I would never spend $300 on a Lego set. I would never spend $380 on a Lego set that looks like a giant roller coaster that's a lot of fun to play with your son. And yeah, I think you can probably tell with my purchases. Hey now, I should probably turn that off. I need to go into silent mode. I'm sorry about that. Yeah, to answer Tracy's question, my spending has definitely changed over time. I now look at more expensive Lego sets and I'm like, you know what? I love it. I love it as an art piece. I love it as a play piece. Clark and I could have a blast with that. I look at it also as like a business expense. This helps my channel because people obviously want to see me build Lego sets. I could do live streams on this. I could do a review. We could there's so much opportunity. So to spend $200 on a Lego set, something I would have never dreamed of before, because it's like, I always looked at video games as a thing. Like I could get way more enjoyment out of even a $60 video game than I can a $60 Lego set. But when your hobby's your hobby, money sometimes kind of gets pushed to the side a little bit. That's not to say that I would ever spend more money than I have on Lego, or I would go in debt for Lego or anything else for that matter. But if you really love something and you get joy out of it, if it brings joy into your life and it's like that thing for you, I don't see any problem spending money on it if you have the means, no matter what your hobby is. You could love collecting anything, and it's like, you know what? Like, for example, Ryan, M&R Productions. He sent me a screenshot or a message or whatever showing this $1,300 Star Wars set that he bought. Initially, I like, my head exploded, and I was like, oh my God, $1,300 on a Lego set. Like, you spent more money on that Lego set than some people spend on a used car or whatever. But then I think, all right, this guy, he has a business in making Lego stuff. He makes a pretty good living doing that. This is his passion. This is his hobby. This is something that he's wanted. It's actually a deal compared to what it goes for typically. Why is that a problem? Why is $1,300 a problem? We spend money on things all the time. Why would it be an issue to spend that on something you really want? Which is why now I'm entertaining buying the most expensive Lego set of my life, which is the Darth Maul bust. I'm looking for a deal. I might piece it together. I've talked about this before. I would never dream of spending $500 plus on a Lego set at any point in my life other than right now, as I'm starting to see, like, this is me. This is what I do. I think I'm probably at that point right now. If it wasn't for YouTube destroying my livelihood with Chima and ad rates going down and stuff like that, like I would probably be more willy-nilly with my expenditures, but I'm still the Lego deal god. I like to hunt for Lego on the cheap. I like to get it at a discount, and that's something that I get a lot of passion out of. So that's still always going to be my thing. I'm typically going to try to get the deals when I can, but if a new set comes out and I love it, and Clark loves it, especially in the Minecraft realm, we're going to snag it. I'm trying not to let money be such a thing anymore. But I do think that people do appreciate me trying to do something on a budget as opposed to being one of those people that's going crazy with the hauls and stuff. But I thank you for that question, Tracy. I thank everyone else for the questions as well. We got a couple more questions here. These two are kind of related. This first one is from L of the L, who has a follow-up on Star Wars Month and says, when is LEGO Friends Month? LOL. And then G Brick Films, similar question. When is Ninjago Month? I'm really looking forward to it. I've got about 3 LEGO Friends sets, so that's going to be really hard to make a month out of. We could maybe have a Friends Week, at which point my entire channel gets deserted by anyone that used to enjoy watching it. But yeah, it could be a thing. Ninjago, I have 5 sets, plus a little arcade pods, so again, a week. I want to do that in August, I think, as a celebration of my buddy Jim Blade's birthday, the biggest Ninjago detector I know. I want to build the Ninjago City docks this year. Other things that I have planned is the Statue of Liberty for July 4th. M&R Productions and I are going to build that together. I have one more LEGO Movie 2 set, which is the Movie Maker, and I think that would be a great build for me and the Clarkin to entertain you guys wildly with our little movie plots and things we could do. I think we could have probably as much fun with that LEGO set as any LEGO set we've had before, even though it was kind of like way overpriced, but I got it for half off. I've got some big sets to build. If you guys are wondering what the grand finale for Star Wars Month is going to be, it's the Slave One. I think it's the best LEGO set that I have in the Star Wars theme, and we're going to kind of save that to the end of the month. I am going to be doing a Star Wars contest. If anyone has any ideas for that, I'd greatly appreciate it if you threw that out as a comment. I'm looking to give away an Anakin Starfighter, and I like to do some type of build challenge or something that gets people like engaged. Maybe it gets their first video on YouTube. They start getting some traction. They realize they love it, and then they message me a year later and tell me that they have 100,000 subscribers and that they're so thankful that they made that first video. Which, speaking of 100,000 subscribers, we're getting very close here, boys. I think we need like another 1,400 people. So I'm thinking maybe in the month of May we might hit 100K, which is incredible. If that does happen, I would love to do a 100,000 subscriber community celebration type thing where we get everyone together, do a live stream for like 3 hours or so, and just have people jump on and tell me about your life and who you are, your favorite LEGO set, and what brings you joy in life. Now the dog's barking. This episode was cursed from the beginning, but I think that's pretty much all we have to talk about this week. I want to thank you guys so much for joining me on episode 33 of the Missing Pieces podcast, the interruption episode, we should call it. Let you know what's going on in my life this week in LEGO and everything else. I appreciate all the viewer feedback. It really makes it engaging for me when I could turn to that and have some thoughts and some things to come up with, some suggestions, if you will. Hopefully the advice that I gave you is something that you can use going forward. And yeah, I just love doing this. So thank you guys so much for being a part of this episode. I was going to end it properly here. Let's do it right. Oh, if you want to support this podcast, let me put my last little plug in here. If you want to support this podcast, you can obviously leave a like on this video. You can leave a comment, which is probably the most helpful thing. If you want to support us financially, Patreon is the place to do it. You can also get content there that you can't find anywhere else, and maybe the future of everything that I do, depending on the government regulations and YouTube's algorithms and such. But until then, I hope we find you in the next Missing Pieces episode.